You're in for a treat. Karoline Leavitt is back doing what she does best, cutting through media spin with her bold, unfiltered style that never holds back. Whether she's shutting down gotcha questions or calling out blatant double standards, Karoline proves again and again why she's the press secretary everyone's watching. Today, we're breaking down her latest viral moments, and trust me, she's on fire. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell for more.
If you look at the unfair trade practices that we have, 50% from the European Union on American dairy, you have a 700% tariff from Japan on American rice, you have a 100% tariff from India on American agricultural products, you have nearly a 300% tariff from Canada on American butter and American cheese. This makes it virtually impossible for American products to be imported into these markets, and it has put a lot of Americans out of business and out of work over the past several decades. So it's time for reciprocity, and it's time for a president to take historic change to do what's right for the American people.
Can you believe it? Even with all the hard numbers right there for everyone to see, the media still finds a way to slam Trump's tariffs. It's like they'd rather side with foreign interests than admit a policy is actually putting America first. And no, this isn't about idolizing one man. It's about realizing every other country looks out for itself. And finally, so are we. Now that we're standing up for ourselves, they're suddenly begging for free trade. Up next, we've got a reporter trying to grill the administration for deporting violent criminals, because apparently enforcing the law is controversial now.
You can get classified by simply having certain symbols in your tattoos and wearing certain streetwear brands. That alone is enough to get someone classified as TDA and sent to El Salvador.
That's not true, actually, Andrew.
According to this document, it is.
No, according to the Department of Homeland Security and the agents, have you talked to the agents who have been putting their lives on the line to detain these foreign terrorists who have been terrorizing our communities? TDA is a vicious gang that has taken the lives of American women, and our agents on the front lines take to ensure that these individuals qualify as foreign terrorists and to ensure that they qualify for deportation.
The left and its media echo chamber have been in full-blown panic mode ever since Trump started delivering on a key campaign promise, kicking violent gang members out of the country. And let's be clear, they're here illegally. You'd think removing dangerous criminals from American streets would be common ground. But now that it's actually happening, the mainstream media is spinning it into some manufactured moral crisis. But Karoline wasn't having any of it. She seized a moment to call out the reporter's loaded questions and shut it down hard.
Shame on you and shame on the mainstream media for trying to cover for these individuals who have. This is a vicious gang, Andrew. This is a vicious gang that has taken the lives of American women.
The government filed in court, which says all.
And you said yourself there are 8 criteria on that document.
They need 8 points.
And you are questioning the credibility of these agents who are putting their life on the line to protect your life and the life of everybody in this group and everybody across the country. And their credibility should be questioned. They finally have a president who is allowing them to do their jobs, and God bless them for doing it.
That reporter, Andrew Feinberg, was so rattled after Karoline schooled him that he ran straight to the Independent and published an article whining. Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt didn't appreciate my question about how the government is making sure innocent people don't get misidentified as dangerous gangsters. He even threw in a dramatic asterisk, shame on you. Well, Andrew, maybe if you asked better questions, you wouldn't keep getting publicly embarrassed, like an actual journalist. Oh, and by the way, I see you haven't liked this video or subscribed yet. What are you waiting for? And of course, no highlight reel is complete without Karoline absolutely dismantling CNN's own Karoline Collins. Let's roll it.
Have attorneys here at the White House told President Trump that he has the legal authority to undo a pardon simply because it was signed by auto pen, as he said?
The president was begging the question that I think a lot of journalists in this room should be asking about whether or not the former president of the United States, who I think we can all finally agree was cognitively impaired. I know it took people some time to finally admit that, but we all know that to be true, as evidenced by his disastrous debate performance against President Trump during the campaign. campaign. I digress on that. But the president was raising the point that, did the president even know about these pardons? Was his legal signature used without his consent or knowledge? And that's not just the president or me raising those questions, Caitlin. According to the New York Post, there are Biden officials from the previous White House who raised those questions and wondered if the president was even consulted about his legally binding signature.
Exactly. House Speaker Mike Johnson revealed that President Biden had no idea he'd signed an executive order halting the export of liquid natural gas. Just think about that. A president signs off on something with massive economic consequences and doesn't even realize it. Now that the mainstream media is finally waking up to one of the biggest political cover-ups of our time, we're left with serious questions. Who's really been calling the shots for the last 4 years? And why did it take this long for any of it to come to light? But instead of addressing that, Karoline Collins kept playing the activist role, which set the stage for this epic showdown.
So I think it's a question that everybody in this room should be looking into, because certainly that would propose perhaps criminal or illegal behavior if staff members were signing the President of the United States autograph without his consent.
Biden is on the record talking about issuing preemptive pardons to these people.
But was he aware of his signature being used on every single pardon? That's a question you should ask the Biden White House.
Is there any evidence on that he wasn't aware of it?
You're a reporter. You should find.
She only plays the role of a reporter when it's time to go after the Trump administration. The rest of the time, she's just another full-time propagandist. Every segment she does is laser-focused on pushing whatever narrative the establishment wants that day. Funny how we never saw her, or anyone at CNN, grill Jen Psaki or Karine Jean-Pierre with the same intensity. That alone proves this isn't journalism. It's scripted theater wrapped in a news ticker. Here's Karoline delivering a direct message to the White House Correspondents Association. Spoiler alert, she did not hold back.
As for switching up seating in the briefing room, it's something we are seriously considering. And we tried to broker a meeting with the White House Correspondents Association board today to discuss that matter. But unfortunately, their president sent out a fundamentally unserious email to the rest of their membership, making it clear that this is a group that doesn't care about press freedom, transparency, and access for all media voices, but just cares about having their monetized monopoly over the briefing room. And I would remind them that the briefing room is part of the people's house. It belongs to the American people. It does not belong to elitist journalists here in Washington, D.C.
This all came after the White House Correspondents Association threw an absolute tantrum over reports that the administration might start managing seating arrangements during press briefings. Honestly, it's a simple, common-sense update. But of course, they're spinning it as some dire threat to press freedom, clinging to a decades-old tradition like it's sacred. Here's the truth. It doesn't matter who's in the front row. Unlike the last administration, we're actually getting regular briefings from both the press secretary and the president, and everyone's getting a fair shot to ask questions.
President Trump asked in his speech last night, how could anyone possibly be opposed to any of this action that he is taking? Well, apparently, the modern-day Democrat Party could. And it's not just the Democrat Party. The mainstream media still doesn't get it. Last night, MSNBC's Nicole Wallace disgustingly looped in a 13-year-old boy with brain cancer into an attack on the president over January 6th. And CNN's first chyron out of the speech called it divisive. President Trump wasn't divisive. The Democrats were. And CNN was proven wrong by their own viewers, 69% of whom, in a post-speech poll, said they had a positive reaction to the president's speech.
This came right after Democrats sat stone-faced during Trump's State of the Union, not even pretending to show a hint of human emotion. But the moment that truly revealed their lack of basic decency was when DJ Daniel, a young brain cancer survivor, was named an honorary Secret Service member. Any decent person would be moved, but not them. To top it off, Rachel Maddow and Nicole Wallace launched into Olympic-level mental gymnastics, accusing Trump of using the boy for political clout. Pure projection. Ironically, Trump called out that exact behavior in his speech, and they walked right into it. Up next, a reporter tries to brush off the fentanyl crisis at the Canadian border, and Karoline shuts it down fast.
Respectfully, It's just 43 pounds that were found last year. That's less than a carry-on suitcase. Is that a lot of fentanyl compared to, say, Mexico? The vast majority of the fentanyl is brought in through Mexico, not Canada. So what else does Canada need to do?
Well, I just told you, last year alone, there was a 2,000% increase in illegal fentanyl. You're asking me for what the president's justification is for these tariffs. It's not up to you. You're not the president, Gabe. And frankly, I think it's a little bit disrespectful to the families in this country who have lost loved ones at the hands of this deadly poison. If you talk to them, and this president has, they are grateful that they finally have a president who is standing up to both Canada and Mexico, and most importantly, to China as well.
Then we got a reporter pressing about when Trump will take responsibility for the economy. And the comeback she got was pure gold.
On the economy, you mentioned yesterday that this is a transition period. How does the White House measure this in terms of when can you not blame it on former President Biden, and when does it fully become President Trump's responsibility?
Well, we've only been here for 52 days, but certainly the president is working hard every day to, again, bring down the cost of living, which we see is already happening. You see the cost of eggs is going down, cost of gasoline is going down because of the massive deregulatory efforts of this president, and also the fact that we are delivering on his promise to drill, baby, drill already. You saw this past weekend, the National Economic Advisory put out a report that because of the regulations we've already slashed in just 52 days, we've saved American taxpayers $180 billion. That comes out to about $2,000 per American household.
Too early to call? Sure. But let's not forget how Biden once bragged about job recoveries that were literally just pandemic rebounds. That's the kind of political theater we don't need from this administration now. February CPI actually brought some good news, with inflation coming in lower than expected. But of course, most media outlets rushed to spin it like it was nothing. Still, nothing tops the way Karoline handled that reporter who kept repeating the same tired question. She absolutely shut it down.
To be clear, that $71 billion was from 2015 to 2022, so it wasn't in just 1 year. And it was
$71 billion.
But it wasn't in 1 year, just to be clear.
In one report.
And it was in one report over multiple years, from 2015 to 2022.
So are you defending $71 billion in fraud, Peter? That's a lot of money. Why is the media so against cutting waste, fraud, and abuse from the government? I don't get it.
I just want to ask a question.
We won't be deterred. We will not be deterred from people like you and the press who are clearly adamantly opposed to cutting waste, fraud, and abuse. But we know that American taxpayers at home who have been struggling with an inflationary crisis don't want their tax dollars going towards crazy DEI programs in countries overseas.
This came right after a reporter tried the classic gotcha trap, hoping to frame Leavitt as some kind of fake news peddler. I remember when journalism actually meant exposing corruption, holding the powerful accountable, and following the money. Their job used to be making sure those in charge didn't get a free pass. But not anymore. Now, the media seems more focused on shielding the establishment than challenging it. And to close things out, we got Karoline's fiery response to Karine Jean-Pierre after she made an outrageous comparison between this administration and the Kim Jong-un regime.
Your predecessor, Karoline Jean-Pierre, presided over many novel press access restrictions. She said in an interview, quote, "What we're looking at is what North Korea is doing." What's your response to that? And can you say anything to allay concerns that unfavorable coverage will be punished in this new press room system?
I think that's the same individual who said from this podium numerous times that the commander-in-chief was mentally and physically up for the job, which we knew was a lie. Many people in this room knew it was a lie. Many of you were admonished for asking questions about that truth. So when it comes to truth and transparency, this administration, this White House is setting the example. This president is taking far more questions than his predecessor, Joe Biden, did on a daily basis, and that will continue.
Just to pile on, we're talking about the same woman who acted as a mouthpiece for an administration that yanked press passes from over 400 reporters while treating even the simplest questions like Olympic hurdles. Honestly, it was embarrassing to watch. But hey, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these moments was your favorite? Drop it in the comments below. And if you think your friends or family could use a laugh too, be sure to share this video with them.